Hi guys! When you get to medical school and dental school, whichever you go to, you'll hear this word constantly, and that's the word autonomy. It's the principle that every patient has the right to make their own decision about their body, about their treatment, and so forth. But what happens when we question if a patient is actually able to make that decision, or they can't make that decision? This brings us to today's topic, which is capacity, assessment of capacity even, in UK healthcare. This is a core ethical and legal requirement, primarily governed by the Mental Capacity Act of 2005. Understanding it is, in my opinion, non-negotiable for future doctors and dentists. So what is the Mental Capacity Act of 2005? What is the legal framework? Well, in the UK, the starting point is the Mental Capacity Act of 2005. The Act provides the legal framework for assessing capacity and making decisions for those who lack it. So the first thing is presumption of capacity. This is a golden rule. We must always presume that an adult has got capacity to make a decision, unless proven otherwise. You can't just assume incapacity, because a diagnosis like dementia or a mental health issue does not preclude somebody from having capacity and being able to make a decision. You must also remember the decision specifics principle, and that is, capacity is not a blanket issue. A person may lack capacity to make a complex decision, like, for a surgical procedure, but they may still have the capacity to make a more simpler decision, like what do they want to eat. Capacity must be assessed for that specific purpose at that specific time. There is a two-stage test for managing incapacity. Firstly, if you suspect a patient lacks capacity, the Mental Capacity Act provides a two-stage test that you must follow, and you need to know this and understand this. Stage one is the diagnostic test. All right. Does the person have an impairment or disturbance in the functioning of their mind or brain? This impairment can be temporary, i.e., like being severely intoxicated or delirious from a high fever. Or it could be permanent, like from advanced dementia, severe learning disability, head injury. And if there's no such impairment, a patient is deemed capable, regardless of their decision. Stage two is the functional test. If you find an impairment, you need to move to stage two, i.e., the test is asking, is the person unable to make a specific decision because of their impairment? To be deemed capable, the patient must be able to satisfy all four of these functions. They must be able to, number one, understand. They need to understand the relevant information that's being given to them and be able to make a decision from that, i.e. the treatment or its alternatives. Number two, they need to be able to retain, i.e. take the information, hold it long enough and be able to make a decision. And number three, they need to be able to weigh up, i.e. the information they've received, and are they able to weigh up the pros and cons, etc., and help support their decision-making process. Number four, communication, i.e. are they able to communicate their decision, i.e. verbally or through sign language or any other means, i.e. translation, etc., all right, if it's needed. If a patient is unable to perform any one of these four functions because of the impairment found in stage one, then they are deemed to lack capacity for that specific decision. Folks, understanding this is crucial in assessing someone's capacity. It's very important for your future role. You need to think about ethical principles as well, i.e. autonomy versus best interest. If a patient has capacity and can make their decision, even if it is medically unwise or is against your advice, you've got to respect them. It is their autonomous right. If a patient is clearly lacking capacity and you find that in your assessment, then and only then you can act in the patient's best interest. Making a best interest decision is not what a clinician wants to do. It means considering the patient's past wishes, values, beliefs, and any input from family or appointed advocates. The least restrictive option must always be chosen. In your interviews, you need to be able to articulate these stages and the 4 functional criteria. Demonstrate a solid understanding of UK medical ethics and law. It shows you know how to protect patient rights while ensuring necessary care is provided. The assessment of capacity is how we balance the ethical duty of autonomy with the duty of beneficence, i.e. doing good. You need to master the MCA, Mental Capacity Act of 2005, its principles, the 2-stage test, and I think then you'll be well prepared for any ethical challenge faced by you in the interview. I hope you found this video useful. I hope the breakdown was useful to you. Like our page, share, and also have a look at the rest of our website for lots of other videos and blogs. Thank you.